This is the early morning of the 27th of November. A clip put up by the Daily Beast. Inside Trump's head. Trump's obsession with women is fundamental to his character. Let's have a listen to this. I wonder what Melania thinks about all this, huh? Well, she's got to know.
Okay, so let's continue on this theme of Trump and the women, a thing that's haunted him a little bit this week.
I just want to preface this because that is the Epstein and Trump story. That is the window there. What do people perceive about this Epstein story? They perceive that this is a window into seeing the true Trump character. And where is the true Trump character? Probably most vividly reflected in his relationship with women and his obsession. So, and remember, he's in the women business. His beauty pageants, his modeling agencies. This is fundamental to his character.
And also, it's fundamental to the way he insults people who don't fall into his vision of what a woman should look like. So we have the story of Catherine Lucy this week, a reporter for Bloomberg, who asks him a question on the plane, and he retorts, "Quiet, piggy."
No, and even his chief of staff, Susie Wiles, who is the one woman who actually makes Trump world run, and who is the one woman distinguished from all of the other women around him. But when he first met her in 2016, because she was running Florida for his then presidential campaign, and he said after meeting her, "She looks like a refrigerator, fire her." And she was not fired, and she flipped Florida. I mean, the pivotal event of Trump's political life. Flipped Florida in 2016, flipped Florida again in 2020, and then ran the campaign in 2024.
So we've got him yelling, "Quiet, piggy." We've also got what appears to be the imminent collapse of his case against James Comey, because Lindsay Halligan, who's got fabulous hair but less prolific law skills, has handled the case extremely badly and didn't even show the grand jury the final charges against James Comey.
Let's go back just to set the scene, because it's an extraordinarily peculiar scene. There is always an entourage of younger good-looking women around Trump, all dressed the same, and all who basically look the same. As a matter of fact, the press, the Daily Mail, is always getting it confused about which of these women is whom. When I was during his criminal trial in New York, the Stormy Daniels, speaking of another woman, the Stormy Daniels trial, he was obviously convicted on all 34 counts, but afterwards I spoke to one of the jurors, and among the things that this juror singled out, he said, all of these Trump women, girls, the ones who were testifying, Hope Hicks, Madeleine Westerhout, the ones who were sitting behind him, Natalie Harp, Alina Habba, he said they all look the same. They all dress the same, and they all look the same. It really creeped everybody out.
Well, and they also look like a much younger version of Melania. I mean, Melania seems ageless, and as you wrote in your Substack column, she actually has an unknowableness about her that lends itself to now being her brand.
Ivanka slips in here too. It's all of there's a lot of plastic surgery so that they can all look the same, but it is very much an attention you're in this as a it's a role. When I first sat in, I think I've told this story before, when I was in the White House in 2017, sitting there every day, and I would see these women come by, all who were dressed the same, short pencil skirts. This was in the winter, high boots, and everybody's hair worn down.
Right.
And I texted my wife saying, God knows I could have missed some fashion trend, but I said, is this unusual? Yes, she said, this would be very unusual if they are all in this singular mode.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda.
I'm Lily Tomlin.
And I'm Sam Waters.
Ad pops up. They do it to me all the time, don't they?
Slightly reminds me of the Robert Palmer video, Addicted to Love, where he has, you probably don't remember this, but he has like 12 women all dressed in black, hair scraped back, big red lips, playing guitars. It's an iconic video, and I urge everybody to watch it if they haven't. It's so good. But he's surrounded by these sort of political groupies. They all look the same. What is the signaling here, that he is younger and more virile than he actually is, or virile, as you would say?
I think part of it is that they are available to me. That's what he wants people to think. And there's an interesting thing that happened in the release of these emails, because an email from me to Epstein showed up, and it was so in 2018, Epstein and Bannon were obsessed with the fact, this was over the Christmas holiday, so I think it was leading into 2019, that Trump did not go to Mar-a-Lago. He stayed in the White House.
And so this was for the holidays, for Christmas?
Yes, and he told people he was staying there because he was, and I quote, banging his assistant. And so Epstein and Bannon, and Epstein was talking to Tom Barrack at the time, who was, a key Trump confidant.
And now an ambassador.
Yes, they were all in a flutter about this. And in this email to Epstein from me, reveals the name of the person, which it shouldn't have been revealed. And in the book that I wrote, this was my second book about Trump's siege, I don't include the name of the person because it was never clear that he was banging the assistant. The only thing that was clear is that he was telling people he was banging the assistant. Even that term, banging someone, when was that last used?
Well, it's such a sort of weird, almost 1970s,
exactly.
Wall Street sort of braggadocious machismo that's just very unappealing.
Fraternity,
Right.
It's a word. All of this has long since passed out of the vernacular and the modern sensibility. But there he was saying this, and all of the people who were somewhat in touch with him aflutter about this, and no one, and even then, no one entirely convinced that this was true, but certain that he was. I mean, yes, because they had been directly told, "I'm banging the assistant," with enormous pride. I mean, that's in that in itself is an old fraternity thing of people wanting you to believe that they were having sex with someone when
Well, with someone 40 years younger, and especially interesting if, as you say, there are people in the White House who assume that Trump is actually post-sex now, and especially because Melania doesn't appear to be around.
I mean, the man whose life has been obsessed with women, and I mean, a lot of women who I think we do understand he was banging, whether they were willing or not to be banged. And then he arrives at he gets older. I mean, he's old.
Trump 79 with cankles and bruises on his hands.
Yeah, I remember Bannon was, even the Stormy Daniels thing with Trump always saying he didn't have sex, absolutely denying this. And how could he have done that? And then Bannon would say, well, a failure to launch. So whatever he arrives at, he is at an advanced age, but I think it remains enormously important to him to be seen as the guy, the women are around. He's irresistible.
Well, and his own daughter has kept her distance. Ivanka, on the one hand claiming that politics is too cruel for her to be involved in, but clearly staying away. His wife appears to have moved out of the White House or never moved in again. So he's trying to signal and make up for the fact that in real life he doesn't appear to have any women close to him. I mean, perhaps the nearest woman to him is Susie Wiles, the refrigerator.
I think that's true. And again, this thing, during the, he would refer to these women around him during the campaign as Charlie's Angels. Let's just pick out another reference from decades long past. In that whole thing, the Lindsay Halligan thing. My lawyers aren't I may not have the smartest, I may not have the best legal team, but I have the hottest.
Yes, I remember talking to someone who was working at the time of the E. Jean Carroll case and spending a lot of time in the courtroom, and Alina Harbour was trying to signal to the legal team that she really admired them and that she thought Trump was kind of monstrous and disgusting, and she was trying to have a cake and eat it, but was aware of the fact that he was a user of women.
Again, there is always that bifurcation in Trump people of them being absolutely abjectly worshipful and loyal to Trump, and then out of the corner of their mouths telling an entirely opposite story. But I think the thing is, and it's important to focus on, because this is the meaning of the Epstein relationship, is that his regard for and relationship with women is unacceptable in this moment in time. He is out of time. I mean, he is a throwback in a way that that I think if people understood the full contours of it and the full force of his misogyny, well, I was going to say that they would have a different opinion, but I think people do understand it. That's the confusing thing.
So, what do you think, huh? You think he's banging his assistants? Personally, I don't think he can get it up. I'll attach the link, pass it along, and thanks for listening.